Nordic Track were brilliant during the sales process for my S27i. When it came to taking my money, I mean, they were super efficient. But to give them credit where credit's due, they did deliver this bike 2 to 3 weeks earlier than they said they would. However, after just a handful of rides on this, maybe 5 or 6, this bike developed a fault. Now, before you think that this is perhaps specific to Nordic Track, my Peloton bike, the original bike, that developed a fault with the power brick. There's a buzzing sound coming from it. My Peloton Bike Plus developed a fault after 5 rides. The crank shifted, and my Peloton tread, I was one of the first people in the UK to get a Peloton tread. After 20 or 30 rides, the screen became very wobbly and was about to fall off. The problem with the Peloton tread was so bad that Peloton gave everybody who had bought these Peloton treads an option to get their money back, an option which I took. I didn't trust the machine after that. However, my concern about the Nordic Track bike breaking or developing a fault, it still worked, was their Trustpilot scores. So in the UK, they have a Trustpilot score of 3.5, which isn't that good. If you're in the US, it's even worse, it's 2.3. The only place I can find that people seem to be really happy with the customer service is in France. So if you're in France, you've got nothing to worry about. Now with Trustpilot scores, I think it's good to put them into perspective. So unlike Peloton, for instance, Nordic Track have lots of products. I mean dozens, maybe 40 or 50 over the years. And with this score, with their score here, it's just an average. So it's hard to work out whether they were terrible, but now they're good. Were they really good and now they're terrible? And also what I found, I've worked in customer services for years, is that people who are unhappy are often a lot louder than the happy majority who generally don't say anything at all. So how good or bad is Nordic Track's customer service in 2022? Let's find out. And if you've had experience of Nordic Track's customer service as well, please put your experience down in the description. The reason being is I want to give people an overview of what it's like right now, at the moment. Let's get cracking. So the problem that my Nordic Track S27i developed was a strange vibration as you were pedaling. Now, unlike what I would identify as a problem with a crank, it wasn't every rotation. So this kind of fairly strong feedback through the pedals was every 1.5 rotations. So I wasn't really sure what it was. And if you've got any idea what would cause a vibration every 1.5 rotations, then please let me know. I kind of felt that it was probably something with the belt, because that seemed about the right length to cause a problem every 1.5 rotations maybe. So one thing about the Nordic Track Studio cycles is they're really smooth when you're cycling. It's a really nice feeling. It's almost like a road bike. The pedals are close together as well, so you get a really good natural feeling to your riding. So I thought I might just live with this. I thought maybe it's just a quirk of the bike, but it wasn't there when I bought it, and it wasn't there for the first 5 or 6 rides. So after about a week, I called customer service, and they answered the phone well. They were really polite, really helpful, and they asked me to send a video of the problem. Now, I explained it was just a vibration, so there wouldn't be anything really that would come across in a video, but they wanted a video anyway. They also asked me to email them proof of purchase, which I thought was odd. I said, I've just bought the bike from you. I've given you the serial number. It was you that sent me the proof of purchase when I bought it. Why do you need it back? But they said they needed it back, so I didn't really want to argue, and I sent them the proof of purchase. With the video they requested, and this is a bit of a tip, if they've asked you to send a video in of a problem you've got, is I uploaded the video to YouTube as a private link. So it's an unlisted video, so only people with the link can watch the video. And the reason for that is I wanted to see exactly when they watched it and also how many times they'd watched it. And they opened the video about 5 hours later, and on day 1, it was watched 4 times. Not a lot else happened on day 2, and then day 3, I had a look again. They'd watched it 2 more times. So I sent them an email just chasing them, and they called me straight back to say that because this was such a new bike, such a new product for them, they didn't want to send an engineer out, they just wanted to replace it, which I thought was a bit odd, because Being a Tesla owner, I'm used to two things. One, people saying to me it's within tolerance. And two, having to get things fixed rather than replaced. So I really thought they would just send an engineer out to look at the belt or whatever the problem was, but they said no, they wanted the bike back and they would give me a brand new one while they investigated the problem on this bike. The new one was for me to keep, they weren't going to kind of swap them back again. Now, I don't want to sound like one of those customers, but they'd also sent me the bike with a European power lead. And I mean, I live in the UK, so if you send somebody in the UK a European power lead, they'll have one of two thoughts. One will either be first world outrage, and perhaps they should get a grip, those people. But the second one is, oh, we must be going on holiday, which builds people's hopes up, man. We weren't going on holiday, they just sent me the wrong lead. The other problem I had with the bike, which was even more minor than that, was when I'm looking at the screen and I'm thinking to myself, everything's fine, the screen's fine, but there's something not right here. And you know when it's kind of there almost subliminally in your mind and you think, there's something not right with this picture. And then it dawned on me, my bike had come without a K on the end of NordicTrack. Anyway, a couple of hours after the phone call, I received a text from their kind of courier company, partner company, Panther, to ask me to book a delivery slot for the new bike. So I picked the next available delivery slot, which was in 5 days' time, which was pretty impressive actually, 5 days to turn this around. However, there wasn't any indication on there about collecting the old bike, but there was a comments box. So I just put in the comments box there's a bike to collect as well, and then they responded back within an hour or so to confirm they would collect the old bike, not this one, this is a new one, on the day they delivered this one. So at this point, so far so good. I mean, it's all going really well. I would have preferred it if my bike hadn't had a problem, but I couldn't really see how they could have dealt with this any better. The night before the delivery and pickup, I got a text from them confirming they were coming. The delivery guys arrived at the time they said they would arrive, and there was a little bit of confusion about taking the old bike away because I'd said to NordicTrack on the phone, I'm not dismantling it. So you're going to either have to send someone to dismantle it or they're going to have to take it like it is. And they said that's fine, don't dismantle it, we'll take it as it is. The courier was a bit reluctant. I don't know whether this guy had a bad experience or something where he'd been blamed for something, but he was reluctant to take a fully built bike just in case it got damaged. His main concern was this 27-inch screen. However, he phoned back to his depot, and this was on a Sunday, so I'm thinking, please don't have a problem. So he phoned back to his depot, who confirmed to him that NordicTrack had already said, pick the bike up fully built, and they will carry any liability for damage between here and back to them. And we're nearly at the end of this story, but the bike arrived, the new bike arrived, and in the box I was pleased because not only did it have this, and if you know what that is, please let me know because I don't even recognise that. Is that like Italian or something? But it had a UK plug, which made me very happy. Either NordicTrack had listened to what I'd said to them on the phone, or other people had called up, I don't know, or they'd realised that they were sending these out with the wrong plugs. But the good news is that they rectified it really, really quickly. My new bike also has a K, which I'm pleased about. And I think videos like this are much more interesting if there's been problem after problem after problem. I think good news stories are perhaps less compelling viewing. However, I was really pleased with the way NordicTrack handled this. And it's easy selling something, but it's often not easy putting things right when they go wrong. And I think NordicTrack couldn't have done a better job, really. And these are really expensive machines. You know, this is a £2,500 bike. But there is kind of sales in service as well, because I'm now thinking about getting a treadmill because I'm so pleased with them. And I'm looking at the 2450. So if you've got experience of that, please let me know. If you're thinking about buying a NordicTrack bike or any of their products, I'll put a link in the description, which will take you to the best price on their website. There's also a small discount code there as well. But all in all, I'm a few months into my NordicTrack journey now, coming from, 3 years with Peloton, and I'm very happy. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and if you have, don't forget to like, and if you're not a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe as well. Until next time, see you soon.